We have all heard of the majestic and breathtaking airships known as blimps. But what are they and where do they come from? The definition of a blimp is a power driven aircraft that is kept buoyant by a body of gas which is lighter than air. The Zeppelin airship is a great example of a blimp. It was a sophisticated craft, 128 meters long and 11.6 meters in diameter. It had an aluminum frame that was powered by two 16 horsepower engines that propelled it at incredible speeds, attaining 20 miles per hour. These Zeppelins were used to drop over 5,800 bombs on London and Paris during World War One, causing massive damage. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's go back to the start. The very start. The first successful airship was constructed by Henry Giffard of France in 1852. Giffard built a 160-kilogram steam engine capable of a powerful output of 3 horsepower, which turned a large propeller at 110 revolutions per minute. To carry the engine weight, he filled a bag 44 meters long with hydrogen. He ascended from Paris, flew at an impressive speed of 6 miles per hour to cover about a distance of 20 miles. Throughout the world, blimp usage peaked in the early 1900s. Airship development in Europe and the United States continued, and in July 1919, a British airship, the R-34, made a round-trip transatlantic journey. Roald Amundsen, Lincoln Ellsworth, and General Umberto Nobile successfully operated an Italian semi-rigid airship to discover the North Pole in 1926. Blimps had their fair share of use in transport and military battle. The beginning of World War One had Zeppelins used for reconnaissance and bombing by France, Italy, Britain, Germany, and Russia. Information could be flown far above the range of guns on ground level, providing great advantage until the introduction of planes. Introduced in World War One and even used in World War Two, barrage balloons were used to defend ground troops from air attack. Besides battle, these massive Zeppelin airships transported passengers across oceans and land with luxury. But the history of blimps wasn't all smooth sailing. In 1937, two Hindenburg-class aircrafts were produced in Germany, and the incident following their creation would threaten the end of the blimp's superiority as an aircraft. The Hindenburg airships were the largest ever created, at a whopping 804 feet long. One of these Hindenburg airships caught fire. A leaking gas cell mixed outside oxygen with the hydrogen, which was then ignited. A slight spark, most likely static electricity, ignited the balloon and it crashed into flames at Lakehurst, New Jersey. Miraculously, 62 of the 97 passengers survived, which is surprising considering the size of the cabin on the blimps compared to the balloon's size. Sadly, the history of blimp crashes did not end there. A tragedy took place in New York on the fateful day of September 11th, 1994. An airship bearing the International Gulf Oil logo crashed on a house at Farmingdale, Long Island, having lost gas pressure. It was on its way to cover the U.S. Open Tennis Championships. There were no injuries, but power was lost in the neighborhood. The massive size and expensive maintenance of blimps eventually led to their downfall. The cheapest blimp would cost around $2 million to make, and the required helium to pilot can cost up to $100,000 per trip. Today, only 25 blimps exist, half of which are actually functioning. The functioning blimps are used only in advertising, with the most famous example of this being the 4 blimps owned by the Goodyear Tire Company. With blimps slowly being lost to history, what does the future look like for them? New advancements in technology suggest that the use of blimps might be revived in the not so distant future. They are much more eco friendly than planes and don't require the expensive infrastructure like airports. But to really know the fate of these incredible machines, all we can do is wait.